Welcome to the future.
Who's this clown?
Not clown. Joker.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Nobody tampers with the equipment except Tony Stark.
Good idea.
United, the Avengers are strong.
This takes place in Ambrose County.
Well, I think we're just gonna start the show because I accidentally hit the button. All right, well, professional show, people.
Professional.
What up? Let's see. Let me check here. I think our levels are good. What up to? Okay, let me restart. What up, comic book fam?
Hello.
It's episode 144 of Two Fat Guys Pull Us. I accidentally hit the button, so everything has been thrown off. So yeah, what's up? Hey guys.
Yeah, Joe, I was talking about the infield getting massacre, which I picked up last minute.
What's up? We're going to be talking about it at the end of the show. But what up, Patty? What up, John? Yeah, so hope you didn't not like the intro that was cut short. But welcome to episode 144. And yeah, it was... I'm not going to lie. For me, it was kind of a meh week. Like...
Yeah, it was. Nothing blew me away, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of a meh. But we'll get into it. We'll get into all that stuff. But let's talk about our business, as we always do at the beginning of the show. And let's talk about our show's sponsor, which is Collected Comics and Games here in the DFW area. That is our LCS that me and Nate both frequent and our regulars. And, you know, Ron and Brent over there take care of us, and they make sure that we get all the books that we need to get so we can review for the show. And we love those guys over there at Collected Comics and Games. They have 3 locations now with a grand opening yesterday for their Irving location happening. So if you're in the DFW area, hit them up in Fort Worth, Keller, and now Irving. They've got some really cool stuff. They've got a great shop. They've got a great selection. And we would love for you to go check out their website, brainycomics.com. I'm going to hit this button even though I didn't check it. Oh, it's not working. Oh, no. No, professional show. Let's see here. So let's hit this and then, oh, there it is. So then let's just do this. Ah, there it is. Okay, cool. So brainycomics.com is a great website where if you'd love to do some comic book shopping online, we encourage you to go over to brainycomics.com where you can find exclusive and variant covers, bundles, bad idea books, new comics, mystery bags, back issues, graphic novels, games, toys and collectibles, and even trading cards. It's a great website to do any kind of online comic book shopping or any kind of nerdy shopping. If you don't have an LCS near you, or they've got some selection that maybe your LCS doesn't have. So we'd love for you to go to brainycomics.com, do a little bit of shopping. But before you check out, we'd love for you to type 2 Fat Guys Pull Us up in that search bar up there. And when you press enter, this is going to pop up. Our 2 Fat Guys Pull Us upgrade and premium upgrade. The standard upgrade for $8 gets you 1 mystery exclusive comic cover. And the premium for $15 gets you 2. And if you didn't notice the front page that we get some really cool exclusive covers from Ron, and most of them, the base value is about $15. So you're already getting a really good deal with the first upgrade, which is $8. You're going to get a really good deal there. But if you do the 15 and you get the 2 covers, you're getting a whopping kick-ass deal. And also, Ron loves to put in little extras here and there sometimes when one of our fans end up actually ordering from brainycomics.com. So we'd love for you to go to brainycomics.com, do a little bit of shopping, put that upgrade in your cart, check out, and then when you get your stuff in the mail, let us know what you got by tagging us and letting us know what Ron gave you on your sweet deal. So that's going to do it for that part of the business. Nope, that's the wrong button. Listen anyway. Anyway, we also have to talk about our sub goal giveaway, which we're on the road to 950 subscribers. Last I checked, I'll check here really quick here on the app here. I'm going to refresh it. We're currently at 889 subscribers, so we're getting closer, guys. But when we hit 950 subscribers, just like when we hit all our other sub goal giveaways, we're giving away this kick-ass slab, this 9.8 CBCS graded King in Black number 5 spoiler variant, the Ryan Stegman cover. Sick cover. We're gonna give this away at 950 subscribers, so please make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated as we are trying to hit that goal. And then you guys know the drill. When we hit 1,000, which we're hoping to do by the end of this year, we're giving away this Spider-Man number 4 Original Sin tie-in, CBCS graded 9.8, first appearance of Silk. It's a pretty badass book. And yeah, we're gonna give it away at 1,000, but we can't do it until we hit 1,000 subscribers. So again, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We would love for you to hit that subscribe button so we can give away those slabs. And then when we hit 1,000, we'll just reset and we'll give away some new slabs at sub goal giveaways, which one of them I kind of already teased. I was going to give away that Donny Cates signed Thor #1. What was it? Nick Klein? I think it was a Nick Klein cover.
Nick Klein, yeah.
Yeah. So come on, guys. Let's hit that sub goal. Help us out. Hit that sub button. All right, back to the week. So yeah, this week I felt like it was pretty meh. I mean, I think some things were established for sure, but they didn't have. Well, we'll get into it, but I just don't think a lot of the books had the weight that I wish they had.
I would say that the key word for this week was transitory. Everything felt in transit. We were moving towards something.
Yeah.
But it was almost like, all right, well, we got to do this to get where we're going.
Yeah, and and like I said, we'll get into it in certain books. I think in some books more than others. But as time goes on, as we progress through that show, we'll figure it out. John says, I agree with Jim. It was a very meh week. My pick this week was Ghost Rider Wolverine book. I hear great things about Madness #1, so I have to see if my LCS has any more copies. I was not, and I still may not pick up the Ghost Rider Wolverine book. But Mike at the shop was like, it's actually like connected to the Way of X or the Fall of X, and it's supposed to be pretty cool. And I was like, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. If I can get more people in the chat, not that I don't trust John, I do, that say that it's worth it, then I might pick it up. But right now I'm still kind of on the fence. But I did hear that it wasn't one of these like, oh, so-and-so is back to write about his two favorite characters. It wasn't one of those. So
by the way, this is totally off topic, but because y'all are talking about crossovers and Wolverine, did you hear that Wolverine and Sabretooth are having a crossover?
No.
So Victor Lavelle confirmed that instead of he was going to get a third volume of Sabretooth, instead of getting a third volume, it is getting melded into the Wolverine book. And I think it's just getting Wolverine book and then a couple of one shots, not a bunch of like tie-ins and weird shit. It's just contained in its own self. But he confirmed it on Twitter that it was happening before Marvel did. So
wow. Well, when we start talking about our Xbox, we can go down that avenue of like what to pick up and what not to pick up, because I've got some thoughts and I know you do too.
Yeah.
Jason, I like the new Avengers. Was disappointed with Spider-Man Annual, but the Dell Auto cover was awesome. Was there a Spider-Man Annual this week?
There was. I forgot about that. That was the one where it's like, I don't even think Spider-Man has much to do with it. It's all about that pumpkin girl.
Oh, Halloween or whatever her name is. Yeah. That pumpkin girl.
Hallows Eve.
That pumpkin spice girl.
Pumpkin spice girl.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into Spider-Man issue number 31, Legacy 925. And my God, what a fucking disappointment. I'm sorry. I called you the day I read it, and I'm done. I don't care about this gang war thing. And I think the biggest thing, that the reason why I'm jumping ship has nothing to do with right? You were like, look, what's his name is off the book after this, and he had a couple pages on here, and it was dreadfully obvious when John Romita Jr. had pages on this, because people's eyes literally were like up on their foreheads. Like, it was disgusting. But the biggest reason why I am off this book is because of the lack of consistency and so how spotty this book is. Yeah. We're jumping back into this storyline that we set up at the beginning of the book, and then Dark Web happened, threw everything into chaos, and then we had this fun little 2-issue run where Black Cat and Peter are a thing, and they're having a great time with each other, and they're exploring their relationship. Then we have the Doc Ock thing, which I really was impressed with, and I had a lot of fun with. I felt like a genuine Spider-Man comic book. And then we jump back to this, and it's almost like we had a completely different writer, even though Cantwell has written all of it, right? This issue felt like we got a new writer. And what was the breaking point for me was the way we just threw Peter and Felicia's relationship out the fucking window. Like, okay, let's have a bachelorette party. Felicia comes to the realization that Peter really isn't in a relationship. He's kind of just doing a fling, which I have never gotten that sense with what little of their relationship we've seen, in the past issues. And then when she comes to terms with Peter, it's like, good luck. See you later. See you around, kid. Bye. Just threw it out the window. And to me, that is incredibly lazy. And I just don't like it. I don't. And it basically, for me, what it felt like was either Cantwell or Marvel was like, enough slice of life with Peter. Let's get to whatever. Let's get to something else. And you guys know me right now. I am 100% into having a majority of my comics have a slice of life aspect. And if there's one comic currently, American comic currently, that is doing slice of life incredibly well, that's She-Hulk. And so that's the standard for me. And so when you try to do that in this comic book and then you blatantly just throw it out the window, I'm done. I could give two shits about the war, the gang war, even though it was pretty fucking crazy and like, oh shit. Like I definitely said, oh shit, when Hammerhead like blew up that chick in the car. Like I was like, oh, that sucks to be you, and that was cool. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this kind of feels like out of left field, right? I feel like the identity of this book is it's like an amoeba and not in a good way. And so I know I'm talking a lot, but I am not at all impressed with this run. And one of the main reasons why I'm jumping off is because of the fact that they just threw out anything that I really enjoyed with just the growing relationship between him and Felicia. And the other reason why I'm not reading this book anymore is because I saw something this weekend that tells me that we could have a genuine Spider-Man book that really mattered and built characters, and we will never get it.
What's that?
Into the Spider-Verse 2. I watched it with my kids, and I was like, God damn it, this is like reading a comic book, and this should be the book. I mean, we're dealing with big feels, we're dealing with just really big issues, and when it ended, I was like, I want to read a comic like this. And Spider-Man doesn't feel like that. It just feels like a jumbled hot mess on the side of the road. And I'm sorry if I'm frustrating anybody. I really am. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or discredit anyone's opinion. But for me personally, I'm done with Spider-Man. I'm done.
Yeah. I don't know. So
I mean,
I'm totally the only thing I'm totally opposite on of your opinions here is gang war.
Right.
I'm very interested in gang
war. Okay.
I'm even more interested the more I look at now that we're getting more solicitations for it. Now, it does seem to be very sprawling, and there's no way I'm going to be reading everything. But I love that we're getting some much deserved attention to street level people. Spider-Woman getting her own ongoing is awesome. Really excited about that. Getting to focus on Daredevil, Elektra Daredevil specifically as a character without Matt being involved is really well. Luke Cage is finally getting a book, like Mayor Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Even though it's a 4-issue mini, I'm much more inclined to care about gang war now after this issue. However, all the rest of it was really, really sloppy. So we tried to do Slice of Life. It did not hit at all. It
didn't get the opportunity to.
Well, it did. We had 12 pages of Bachelorette Party, and not a single one of them was. It was cheesy. It was corny. It was cliche. It was embarrassing. It was not good.
And it had nothing to do with. Okay, I mean, I get it. It's about this couple getting married, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's frustrating is like I think that should be the side story, and Peter and Felicia's relationship should be the slice of life. And it's completely the opposite. It's like they're just throwing it out the window. And if it's
that's the worst part of the book to me is just the complete dismissal of that was really rough.
Like, I don't want to write this anymore. Like, that's how it felt. It was just like, I'm done with this. That's how it felt.
No, that's not.
Yeah, it did. Like his like.
Oh, it was like Nick Lowe made him do it. Said we're done with Felicia. Get it out of there.
That's what I mean. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't mean the other way.
Well, there's nothing Zeb Wells can do that. If his editor says you have to take it out, you have to take it out. There's nothing.
But are we taking it out because? Are we taking it out because we're eventually and gradually moving to Mary Jane and Peter getting back together?
I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate on that. I have no idea. I don't know. Every part of this book too. I don't know. Maybe some really hardcore Spidey fans are excited about this because, man, did you get like the Spider-Man line, for good or bad? I'm saying bad, is really blowing up. Like, we're really getting big. We've got Amazing Spider-Man, we got Spider-Man, we've got Spider-Boy, we've got Superior Spider-Man, and then we've got all of these peripherals that are going to be tying in some way. And then in December we've got Gang War with its 30th. Like, they're really going all in still. Like, they're not listening to us at all when it comes to Spider-Man. They're saying, shut up, we're pushing it. We're pushing it forward. And
I think that's why I'm frustrated with the book itself, is because we're introducing all these different books, right? We're building this Spider-Verse, if you will, Silk 2. But it doesn't feel cohesive. And I do not give DC props. I don't give them props, a lot. It's hard. But Spider-Man in its current state would do a world of wonder if they were doing with what the Superman book is doing right now, with the family, and just it feeling connected, even though you have different writers on it, and there being a Superman family. We can do that with the Spider family, like the Spider characters. I think it's totally doable. And right now, it's just like, sell more Spider books. Sell more Spider book. It doesn't matter if they're interconnected. It doesn't matter if they're sloppy. Just sell them. And like, that's incredibly frustrating because I want to stand there with Joe or with John and just and be Spider for life. I want that desperately, but I can't do it. Like, I've done this before with Nick Spencer's run. I hated that run, and I did the point LR5. I did those, and I got fed up. And I'm done. Like, I have lost my interest, unfortunately.
Yeah. Also, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. The very, very last preview, what is that? Is that the what is it called? Rain? Spider-Man Rain?
Isn't it supposed to be like the most controversial Spider-Man run ever or something?
So it's an out of, if I remember right, it's an out of continuity miniseries that ran in the early 2000s, and this is supposed to be like a sequel to that. So it won't have anything to do with what's going on. It's completely out of continuity. From what I understand, it's like the Dark Knight Returns, like the Frank Miller Batman, like way in the future where he's like the old man. But I could also be very wrong. But there are some people that probably read this book and were super excited about the future of Spider-Man.
Oh, I'm sure.
Of what's going on. It just was not.
Yeah.
I probably won't read. I was looking at it here. I probably won't read again for a month or so. I'm not interested at all in these Craven stories. But I'll probably pick back up in November when we get Gang War First Strike, especially because we have an Ed McGuinness cover with Rec Rap on there. So he's doing the cover and the interior. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm out. I'm done. I'm gonna have to tell Mike to pull it because I'm just. I want the Spider-Verse. I think that book. I think if they did something like that, I know that there have been versions of that have been done, but we need it. Like I think there needs to be a Spider-Core comic desperately. It just makes sense, and where things are interconnected in a proper way, because like I watched that movie this past week, and I'm like, I want this Gwen, I want this Miles, I want this Peter, I want this Miguel. Like I want all of it, man, because to me, that is a way more intriguing storyline than, hey Peter, I want a relationship and you don't. And we've only been dating for 3 issues and I'm done. Like, what? Like, it just didn't, there was no emotional connectivity to it.
I want a relationship.
Let me say that. Let me say this. I'm reading so much manga right now, and the way they build up relationships in those books, the way they build up tension, whether it's action based, romantic based, slice of life based, I get done reading a volume and I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta wait 3 months unless I really want to cheat and read it online. I gotta wait 3 months to read the next volume. You know, and like to me, that's a job well done. I get done reading Spider-Man and I'm like, God, that was a chore, and I don't want to read it anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about a book that was fun, and that was Avengers issue number 4. Hold on, comparative to Spider-Man, and the reason why I say that isn't necessarily the story; it's the artwork. The artwork in this book was so damn good. Via on the book was just phenomenal. I am disappointed, though, that it didn't do what I thought it was going to do, which was this was going to be an issue solely around Iron Man and his city destroyer, you know, this city villain. We're still hopping around every other 2 pages to a different city and how an Avenger is either getting their ass kicked or kicking ass. And so I'm a little frustrated with that. I'm not going to lie. I was hoping that this issue was going to be centric around Iron Man and his city and how he was going to save it. And it did not deliver that. It was issue 3 all over again, where we're hopping around to each Avenger. And so, like, 2 pages Iron Man, 2 pages Thor, 2 pages Wanda, 2 pages Iron Man. Like, literally, like, that was the sequence. And that was a little frustrating for me personally. Am I still in on this Avengers run? Yes, because I'm still a fan of McKay, and I do like the idea of what we're building here with this team, but for the flow of the comic, which is a really big deal, because when you get into the flow, the proper flow of a comic, and it's good, when it ends, you're like, fuck yeah, let's keep going. And in this one, I was like, I think I know what you're doing here, but it just feels too choppy. I feel like you're making me work harder than I have to understand what's going on in the book.
Yeah, for this particular issue, I agree. I think John said it best. It didn't advance the story enough. We got, as far as plot movement goes, we moved like an inch. And,
yeah.
We'll say this we say this too many times with modern comics, but I'm sure this will read much better as a trade. But as
so Joe said. That's what Joe said. He literally just said that.
Yeah. Because as a monthly read, this has gotten worse every issue. It's not bad. I'm just saying the quality the readability has been getting worse month by month. So I don't know. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I'm just not going to jump off the book.
No,
if
by
you're
no.
CF Vila's art, make sure you enjoy the next issue because he's gone.
Oh, God. Anyway,
future.
By no means am I jumping off the book, but it's just a little frustrating because, you know, we are reading, you know, McKay's other stuff, and that stuff's been great. So it's just like, you know, you were hoping for some consistency, and, you know, it's just not here yet. And someone said it's like kind of like a slow burn, so maybe we'll get there. But all right, over to Children of the Vault, issue number 1 from Camp. So when we talked about this, you had read it before me, and I was like in the middle of it, and then you were like, "You're gonna be pissed."
Did I say that?
Yeah, you were like, "You'd be upset." You said I was gonna be upset about something.
I was upset.
Okay.
But then I didn't want to tell you why.
Okay. Well, I'll give my base reaction, and then we can go from here. Or you can go from there.
Okay.
Unnecessary. To me, this book is unnecessary, and this is where, when you're not in that tight-knit circle of what Gary Jerry is doing, and him being the unofficial, like, leader of the X Office right now, because he's clearly, like, doing all the Fall of X stuff in the sense, all the stuff that matters. This one, to me, just felt like, hey, we need we need 10 different books for the Fall of X line. What do you got? And they were like, Children of the Vault. I'm like, okay, that's intriguing because everybody wants to know what's going on with the Children of the Vault. And the expectation for this book, I think, was high. And so where we're going with it currently, I didn't, let me preface this. I didn't have a problem with the direction of it, but it just didn't go the direction I wanted it to go. And so my expectation was here, and it's down here. And it just screamed to me, and I know that camp is highly regarded amongst a lot of us in the community. And I'm not saying the writing was bad, in my opinion. It just didn't feel like it mattered. Like, I don't know why I picked this book up after reading it. Like, it just didn't feel connected to what we're currently reading. It just doesn't feel like the Fall of X that Gary Jerry's doing right now. It feels like it's off. It feels like an Elseworld story in the Fall of X line, if that makes any sense. Like, it just doesn't feel like it's actually happening. It almost feels like a what if. That's how this issue read to me.
My biggest problem with this book, and this is hard to do. I know there's a line that's hard to cross because we're writing comic books that are superhero comic books, and none of it's ever real. But my eyeballs almost popped out of my head from rolling so hard. And within 3 pages, it wasn't just that the children were out of the vault; it's that they solved the whole world. The world's now utopia. We can make steak and T-bones out of rocks. I can run and pick up 43,000 people from an inferno in 1 second. An entire man stopped a tsunami from wiping out 1 million people with the touch of his hand. Like, what the fuck? Like, it was, and in 3 pages, the whole world is now cured. The entire world everything's cured now. What?
Yeah.
In a side random book in X-Men that means nothing. And we're going to hear nothing about it. We're going to hear no ramifications about it. The children are going to get shoved back in their vault, and no one, like, what? They focus, like, the first 4 pages on, like, starving kids in a third world country that are now have food to eat because they turned their rocks into fucking racks of ribs. And they're like, obviously that's not going to keep going. So the Children of the Vault go back in, and we're gonna go back and show these starving kids eating rocks again. Like, it was fucking weird.
No, it was weird, and I think it also was pretty evident that this book is just kind of like, whatever. When Orcus, who's running the fucking show, is like, we're not gonna deal with the Children of the Vault. They're not our concern right now. You're like, what? No, like, they're fucking with your plans. And I think the other thing is the way it just didn't feel. I think the reason why this book ultimately didn't hit the chord was the way they were introduced and the way they were dealt with under Hickman had so much more consequence and so much more weight, and they felt dangerous. They felt like, yo, we cannot fuck this up. If they get out, we're done. We are done. And when they got out, it just didn't feel like. It didn't. Sorry, I just read Joe's. It just made me laugh. So I'm out of thought. It just didn't. They don't feel like the same characters. They don't feel like the same threat. They just they feel like a completely different set of characters. And outside of what they're clearly doing, which is they're poisoning people's minds with this techno organic virus. Yeah. So to make everyone feel like everything's okay. I guess that's cool, but I think I'm out. I don't think I'm getting the next one. I think I'm done. Like, I want to fully commit to the storyline that I think is doing the best job of keeping my attention, and that currently is Gary Jerry's run. Like, he is killing it with X-Men. He's killing it with Iron Man. I'm super excited for his Uncanny Avengers run that's about to come out. And I'm only, I'm going to give every X book that comes out in this fall, at least in issue 1. Like, I'm going to give it a shot, right? So I'm going to do Dark X-Men. I'm going to do the Spider-Man book by Cy Spurrier. Like, I'm going to do issue 1. But if they don't grab me in issue 1, I'm out. Like, I know that's a thin line, but I want to focus on the books that I feel like are actually keeping my attention in the right spot for Fall of X. And this one to me just didn't feel like it mattered. It feels like an Elseworld what if book right now. And maybe in issue 2 and 3 it just goes ham, and it really does do the things that we thought it was going to do. But issue 1 was a complete disappointment for me, unfortunately. I just feel like we're dog shitting our entire books.
You know what? I was just about to say, I'm going to say something nice about this issue.
Okay.
Art was great. Art was perfect house style. It fit the X line, the Pepe Larraz, RB Silva style. Great. I really enjoyed it. And it's from a artist, Luca Maresca, who has very, very little credits to his name. So I would say that's definitely a name to look out for, because I thought his art was great.
Yeah, for sure.
He's only done like a few covers and stuff.
Okay, so let's start with Joe. You smell what the Rock is cooking. That was really good. How many starving kids eat too much too fast? There's got to be a way to stretch those stomachs to fit ribs, but make rocks them stretch. John, I skipped this book, and you guys made it sound like that was the correct decision. I want you to take our opinion with a grain of salt, but yeah, I think it's a good miss, unfortunately. Last, I hate and love this book. Jason, I'm glad now I didn't pick it up. Last, Children of the Vault should have been the amping up of this war that has to happen. Also, really tired of Destiny having her mutant genes blocked. That's really, bad writing in my opinion. Camp TVU for Marvel. Also, so Children of the Vault come out of the comment. Don't bring back reinforcements and new children. The last time we visited the vault, they had Darwin's ability. Can we see the new COV? That's what I'm saying. Like, it just doesn't. I know we try not to go back to this talking point, but I think in this regard, if you're not going to at least acknowledge the foundation and guidelines that Hickman wrote with the Children of the Vault, then what are we doing? Like, they just felt like they had consequence. They felt like they were a legit threat. And in this book, it was kind of like, and it's happening over here. And Bishop and Cable, they got it under control. They'll figure it out. And it just doesn't feel right to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's move on. Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. God damn it, I'm sorry. Not good. Shorter. I hated it. It wasn't fun. I don't like it. Okay, I'm very frustrated. Rocket is the best thing to do with any of this book.
Rocket is the best thing to do with any of this book. This book had a lot more action in it. I did really appreciate that. And I remember that because I just now looked through the book, because I actually remember a single thing about this book, which I read on Friday and still don't. The artist, again, we have a lot of complaints. He's got John Romita Jr. syndrome, where he can't draw a face to save his life.
No.
You know how artists they start out at the beginning where they do the oval shape, then they do the measure it to 1/3, and you do the eyeballs here. It's like he just stops right there. It's like, yep, that's good enough. And then he does this. That's badass. That's great.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is. It's Junior syndrome, but I don't know. This is my John. I can't quit you no matter what thing with Spider-Man. This is my Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know why I'm still picking up this book, but I will continue to pick it up.
I'm out. I'm out.
If anyone has anything to add, or if anyone else even, y'all tell us. But I can't in good faith recommend this book, and honestly, I don't even know if we should keep covering it.
I don't think, unless our community in overwhelming numbers say, hey, keep covering
Please
Guardians.
Talk to us about this, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're out, and I'm sorry, we're being such Debbie Downers. All right, I actually have some positive things to say about this book. I know you weren't as much of a fan, so I'll say the positive first, and then I'll talk about my negatives. Immortal X-Men issue number 14 this was another glaring, and I'm not saying this isn't bad, that it's bad, but it's another glaring view of that Karen Gillan isn't in control of the X office. Was he ever? Did he ever have command? No, not officially. But he was controlling the narrative through Immortal and through his other events What was the event with the X-Men and Externals?
Judgment Day.
Internals. Judgment Day. And so during that, it felt like Karen Gillan was the unofficial head of X-Men, and the torch has clearly been passed to Gary Jerry. And I think it's actually evident in this issue because we didn't get the typical character development, the character what's the word I'm looking for? What is it? Character study. We didn't get our typical character study, individual character study that we get in every one of these issues in Immortal. It was all over the place with Charles sprinkled in. Essentially protecting.
This was more of what's his name?
Shaw.
This is more of a Shaw book than anything.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like, you know how, so we had the gala, and then issue number 25 for X-Men was like the epilogue to the gala. And this was like epilogue point 5. Like it was like just that extra little paragraph to really tell you the consequences of the gala and kind of piggybacking off of X-Men. And it didn't do it as effective as issue number 25 of X-Men. We just got the last bits of things that we were kind of wondering about, right? And I think the biggest thing that we've been wondering about was like a footnote in this issue. And that was all the X-Men or all the mutants are in the desert. Possibly on Earth. We don't quite know. They might be on a different Earth or they might be in a different dimension. But they were just kind of like, and they're alive. And here's a really vague religious Judeo, you know what I mean? Like reference into follow me into the desert, my people. Which again, like the symbolism, great. And it's effective. But it was at the back end of the book, and it was just kind of like, this happened too. And in the sense of its connectivity, great. I'm glad I got to figure out what the hell is going on with Shaw and what Professor X is doing on the island. He's being mopey and he's making fake monsters so people don't invade Krakoa. Great. The mutants aren't actually dead. Like you said, no, there's no way that they're actually dead. But now we kind of know. We have an idea of where they're at and what their situation is. So they're not in a meat grinder. They're either on Earth in a desert, or they're in a desert somewhere in the universe, or they're in a desert in an alternate reality. We don't know. So there is that intrigue, and that was positive for me. But I think this book clearly shows that Karen is no longer in the front seat at the moment, the unofficial front seat of the X office. It's clearly Gary Jerry.
I wonder how long this book has. Not that it should be canceled, and not that Kieran should be removed, but that the idea, because each of these books, we change books and book names like we change underwear in the X line. They just don't.
Yes,
they don't care. They'll cancel everything after 5. I mean, Teeny Howard should have had one run, and all 3 of those volumes should have just been one run together.
Right.
But and so I'm wondering, we're solicited through November now, and we still have an Immortal up to there. So after this, we've got that weird Wolverine. Oh shit! What's his name? What's the bad guy? He used to run around with Juggernaut, and he can flow with Krakoa. We haven't seen him in forever.
Flow with Krakoa.
Black. His name's like Black Tom. Black.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the guy that speaks to the island.
He looks like on the cover. He looks like a chimera between that guy and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we have next issue, and then we have Apocalypse, and then we have Jean Grey.
Well, if you notice, he's in the desert. That version of the Wolverine is in the desert, so it looks like he's going after the mutants. I don't know, man. It's so. I don't think I'm in this book's in the running for dropping Black Tom. But I just don't know. I'm behind Gary Jerry at this moment, and probably Al Ewing. I don't think Al Ewing, even though Al Ewing's books are just as thick as molasses, I'm still enjoying them. I'm enjoying what he's doing, and I'm interested in what he's doing. But it's just clear that the ball is clearly in Gary Jerry's court. This is the fall of X is his thing. Like he's running the X office for a year until we move on to the next phase, whatever that's going to be. Let's see here. John, I'm interested to see what happens next in the Guardians book. I thought it was good. Okay. Joe, I love this cover. Yeah, it is a good cover. This cover made me think we were going to get a new glimpse into the future through Charles somehow. Again, my biggest problem with these X books is there is no common thread heading towards the same end. Patty's in the middle of a power outage.
no.
Sorry, Patty. Also, Immortal was the potential to be the book that there were no real leaderships or narratives being made right now. The biggest problem with the X issues is the narrative is hot, cold, and bland. Charles has no clue what's happening on Mars. Where was Legion and the twins with the dark holes in the masks when Nimrod invaded? Are we going to get new Sentinels? I think we kind of have them.
These are questions that you will have answers to in 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
Because they're not done. They're still not done playing in the sandbox. The sand's gone. It's full of dirt. There's weeds growing in the corner, but they're still not done playing in the sandbox that Hickman built.
That was a really good analogy. I really enjoyed that. All right, let's move over to DC. We got the annual Superman from Joshua Williamson. It was okay. I mean, it was fine. I mean, it was perfectly fine. It was fine.
This was my silly goose time of the week.
Yeah. I want to say that the jumping around, obviously this is the opportunity for our artists to get some footing into the comic book world. And I think there was one artist that I was like, if they switched to this artist on the main book, I'd be cool with it. I cannot remember what story it was when Lois was talking to the group of interns. I think
that's the main artist on Action Comics.
Okay, if he were
which is why it feels so good.
Yeah, if he were to jump over to Superman and we didn't get our current artist that's about to jump off or has jumped off, then I'm cool.
Sure I'm not wrong, but I think that's right.
That felt good. But it didn't. It's an annual, right? So we're trying to do a lot of things at once. We're trying to show where the book is going, or at least that's how Williamson and DC are doing their annuals, whereas Marvel kind of just do these kind of weird one-off stories. So, am I surprised in the direction that the book is going? Absolutely not. Am I happy with the direction that the book is going in? Yeah, I'm good. I feel good about it. I really, really am intrigued with this Moonlight character, or whatever her name is. The
Which one? The one on the horse?
Yeah. Very intrigued with her. And still this idea is the super core legit? What are the intentions? We still obviously need to be cautious, but they're winning us over gradually. That's great. And to see the villain, the guy that can duplicate and eat, what's his name?
Parasite.
Parasite. Just seeing Parasite kind of have his little happy ending, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I liked that.
if you had to put a gun to my head right now and said, Jim, Jim, if this was if you had to pick a pick of the week, what would it be? I guess it would be this. I mean, a gun to my head. Like, pick one, damn it! Like, okay, this one. So, I'll just say this is my pick of the week. Even though
we're being Nathan levels dramatic right now.
I know, man. I'm sorry. It was just this week was just kind of meh for me. So this would be, if I had to pick a pick of the week, if I had to make Lee put something up on our shelf, it would be the annual for Superman annual #1. So that's just me.
All right.
You?
There it is.
How did you feel?
I feel the same way. Like, to me, this was a silly goose time. I say this every single week because every single week we have a Superman book. But like, the connective tissue of everything we're doing in the Superman world right now just works. It's literally like DC has locked Williamson and Philip Kennedy Johnson and Tom Taylor and whoever else is the fourth writer, and just like, you guys can't write your books unless you're in the same room. Y'all need to make sure this is all together. Steelworks writer too, and the Superboy writer. It's just like, you guys have to all be together, and I really like that. I think that that's
how comics should be.
Well, especially when you're going to have a family, right? A group of comics that are all together, they really should feed off of each other. So,
Agreed.
yeah, this was fine. This was definitely my DC pickup.
I know what your pick a week is. I am almost
You
certain
don't.
I know what you're. I do. I think I do.
Okay,
It's not the next book.
it's not the next book.
So let me get to Joe's halftime question before we get into this, and then he
Sure.
says, "Is there a comic that you dropped that later on you felt like it was a mistake and went hunting for them? For me, it was the run on Ghost Rider."
Oh, that's a good question.
I don't know.
That I
don't-
dropped and felt like it was a mistake.
I don't think I've ever had that situation happen to me. No, I don't. I personally don't think I have a book that I've dropped that I was like, damn it, why did I drop that? Like I've never looked back. Like I've always been like, meh, I'm done. I think the only thing I can speak to when it comes to missing out on something was when we started. Like we started, and I read my first Donny Cates book, which was Thor. And then I'm like, well, fuck, I gotta go read everything else that he wrote. And so I was on a mad hunt for Cosmic Ghost Rider, his Doctor Strange run, his Inhuman run, his Guardians run. Like I did it all. Like I remember that adamantly because we were in the middle of COVID, and I was literally sitting right here on eBay going, oh, the whole complete cover A set of Cosmic Ghost Rider, $100. Okay, beep, buy. Or not even. Like I remember I got it. And I got cover B for issue 6 of Thanos Wins, which was the first appearance of Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
And then I went and I called comic shop after comic shop in the DFW area. I ended up calling comic book shops that were essentially connected to Collected and were in the same kind of like network. And I ended up finding a comic book shop in Georgia that had a Cosmic Ghost Rider #1. Actually, or not #1. Thanos Wins.
14.
Is it 14 or 16?
I never can remember between the two.
Let me say. Keep talking.
I don't think I can think of a run where I jumped off and wish I hadn't, but I can think of runs that I hesitated on from the beginning and really wish I didn't, and now I need to make the effort to find the issues. And that is Cantwell's Iron Man run. I didn't start picking up the issues until the 8th issue, and I fucking love that run. Yeah, I completely forgot you had that.
13, yeah, and it's a 9.0. Like, whatever, I don't care.
You picked that up raw, right?
I picked it up raw from a comic book shop in Savannah, Georgia, which I still am subscribed to like their email list, and I get all their because that dude bent over backwards for me to get this. He's like, actually, I do have one, and he could have sold it to me for like $80, and the dude sold it to me for 20. Like, dude was awesome. So, first appearance of Cosmic Ghost Rider right here is amazing.
Nice.
Never given that away. Sorry.
Yeah, Iron Man would be my one, and then Captain Marvel. I didn't jump on. I think James jumped on at like issue 12, or 8 or something like that, and told me you need to get on this. And then I bought the 3 issues that were the Empire tie-ins and read them, and he's like, "Don't stop." And I was like, "Nah." And I stopped, and then I didn't start picking up Captain Marvel again until that's 17. Okay, I guess 17, 18, 19. No, actually. Oh, no, I stopped and then didn't start again until 28.
Jeez.
So I have 28 through 50, and then I have like 16 through 20. So I'm missing a good portion there, which is why I'm probably going to pick up the first volume omnibus and then just use this as my second part.
Yeah, I still need to go get issues 1 through 11 on that run.
However, have this little gem. Issue 8, excuse me, is the first appearance of Star. The second printing is also her first cover appearance. So first appearance and first cover appearance. I picked that up at Duncanville. It was just sitting in their back back section, like new comics, just
Oh my
sitting there.
goodness.
I was like, oh, give me.
Give me
I
that.
paid $3.99 for it, cover price.
That's a deal. That's a deal and a stale.
Yep.
Joe, Tom King is doing a lot of interviews promoting his Wonder Woman run. I'm actually kind of excited for that.
Mhm.
Joe, right now it's Something Killing the Children, turning out to be a really expensive endeavor. That Ghost Rider run is totally worth it. Strong, gruesome horror vibes. Jason, 100% how comics should be the current Superman titles. Agreed. Unfortunately, recently I did it with Moon Knight, but I'm back on it and enjoying it again. Oh yeah.
Good.
Jaden, there is no reason
No
you do
worries.
not need to apologize. We're just happy that you're here and that you said hi. Joe, Tom King said his Wonder Woman run will be the story on how she got a daughter. He also said that he got approved for a backup story on Trinity in 20 years in the future. I kind of like that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. So we read about that, right? And that was in the final issue.
Yes.
Of Clunan and
Yeah, Damien, John,
their
and her
run.
daughter. Yeah, and like I was super intrigued with it.
yeah,
like,
I was
this-
pretty intrigued too. And but you're right, they're doing a ton of coverage, and like all of his friends, like all of his like buddies on Twitter, Chip and Gail Simone and Tinian, so many different people are like, "Yo, I've read the first issue, and you guys are dum dums picking this up." So
Yeah,
I'm picking it up.
Just-
I don't know
I
how I
just-
feel about Wonder Woman, but I'm picking
just
it
need
up.
Night Terrors to be over. Like I'm so fucking annoyed.
I tried so hard to read issue 3 this week and I couldn't.
They say.
It was just-
And then there's other channels I'm not gonna name names that are just pushing it hard. Like, oh, it's really good. It's really fun. It's like, no, it's not. You're literally choking through 15 different titles every fucking week because you want to cover it, and it's just not. I'm sorry. Like, I don't apologize. I don't. And I know there's people on this channel that love it, and I'm sorry. I do apologize. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. As a kid, I was disappointed I wasn't able to subscribe to Ultimate Spider-Man, and then he died. I still don't own those. Damn. John, Thanos wins. I got that one, Jim. Everybody bought the lenticular cover of that issue, so the regular one was rare. My LCLs offered both covers for a discount, so I got lucky. I had the lenticular. Like when I bought, somebody was selling their entire run of Thanos wins, and I bought the whole thing. I think I bought the whole thing for $90. And the lenticular for that issue was in there, but he didn't have cover A, and I was like, I gotta get it. I have to. And so when I found that shop in Savannah, Georgia, that dude was so nice. Like he literally, I think he had it on his site for like $80, and he ended up giving it to me for 20. So pretty freaking sweet. Jason, the best thing about Night Terrors were the covers. Yeah, I agree. All right, be quick on this one. World Finest Teen Titans issue number 2. You know, this is exactly what it is. The artist did change, which I was a little bummed about, even though the art was good.
I don't believe so.
It felt different. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I'm just getting things mixed up in my head. It was fine. It was a good issue. It's doing the thing that Wade does really well, which is kind of bring you back to, bringing back the nostalgia of these characters, and then just kind of letting you to get to know them better. And I had no problem with this issue. I thought it was a lot of fun. This is my silly goose time for me. Like, it's just, I don't know the Titans in their original, in this original form. I just don't. And so for me, it's kind of like a nice, I know it's a retcon, but it's just cool to see them in this kind of atmosphere. So I enjoyed it. It's not shattering anything. It's not moving anything. Canon is not being abruptly shifted to one other side or the other with this book. It's just kind of like, hey, this is a story. It's just a fun time. And to me, that's what this is. That's what it's doing for me, especially with me not reading a lot of DC because of Night Terrors. So it was a welcoming little change of pace in this week's lackluster pull. That's all I gotta say about that.
I don't really have much either because the things I didn't like about the first issue were more amplified in the second issue, and that's Mark Waid's uncanny ability to make my skin crawl through his attempts to sound like
Gen
a
Zer.
Gen Z teenager, and it really like gives me goosebumps. So
yeah,
I have made the decision because I'm buying these and getting them. I will get through the first arc because cut off things make me OCD bug
Yeah, yeah.
out a little bit, but
Yeah.
I don't think I don't find a lot of value with this book, especially with this second issue.
Yeah. No, I
I'm
completely
looking for
understand
some
that.
more-
You want some more meat?
More small meat.
He said he wants Wonder Woman to be the Wolverine of DC. I don't know how I feel about that. Wolverine of DC.
I don't see that connection at all.
I
Shouldn't
learned
get
my
activists and
lesson
come back together? 'Cause
with
that'd be
early
cool.
reviews from celebrities after the Flash movie. Best thing about Night Terror, the covers, yep. Was in the hospital with appendicitis. God
Ooh.
damn it! And got issue 2 of Ultimate Miles and maybe issue 1. I think I only got 2 to 3. Oh, I see what you're
What
saying.
issue is it? There one of those is his debut issue.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
think it's
remember.
issue.
All right, tell me about House of Slider. House of Slider.
I can't tell you too much about this book because unfortunately, it looks like just how the third arc was like a breath of fresh air from the first arc. It was good,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
well, it looks like this one's taking after the second arc, and this writer is trying to do way too much.
Oh no.
So we are following the white masks of the House of Slaughter, but we're really seeing like a lot of the like in-house politics come to play here. But we also have a story of some kind of hunting of a nest of some kind that's spawning these monsters, but they can't figure out exactly where it's coming from. But they think it's being manifested by this foster home. And so what they do is they take Alabaster, this kid who has he's missing his arms and one of his legs or something. It's also like hardly ever shows you, so it's really he's like always like shadowed, which is just strange to me. And he's always wearing long clothes, so you can't tell like where his appendages are missing. Anyway, they put him into this foster home as like a little decoy or as like a little like a bait. Essentially, they call him bait throughout the whole issue. And he's gonna see like what's going on. That's the gist of what I got here. I hope that with another issue, a lot of things will become more clear with what's going on. I might even, when the next issue comes out, pop this one and read them both at the same time just to see if it can take it. Okay. I will say, I need to know how we're breaking down the artist credits on this book, because even though this book, from what I understand, the only reason why Deladera and Tinian are getting credited on this book is because they were series developers. But like, I swear to God, Deladera did the artwork on this book. It looks exactly like Something is Killing the Children, which is wild to me. Like it looks. I don't understand it. So whoever the let's see, Letizia Kodanichi is doing the illustrations on this and like absolutely destroying it. A+++.
All right.
So there is that. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. This book has been 5 issues great, 5 issues bad, 5 issues great.
So it seems like the even arcs are the ones that kind of fall flat.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. All right, Swan Song, issue number 2.
Did you read this?
No, I didn't pick it up. I told you I'm not doing it.
I don't want to talk about this issue a lot, honestly. It's too it kind of hits too close to home.
Okay.
This issue, this is the antithesis, or not antithesis. This is the beacon of example of what W. Maxwell Prince's horror is.
Okay.
And that it's that there's nothing frightening in here. There's no monsters, there's no ghouls, there's no jumping, there's no possession. It's literally about the damage and destruction two people can do to each other while they're in love. And it is
brutal.
Pretty intense. It's pretty brutal. And as a joke, when these two get divorced, one of the things that they agree in the divorce settlement is that they will be locked into eternal battle throughout history. So as we see what happened with the relationship and how it formed and how it fell apart, they keep taking turns slaughtering each other in different time periods in the world. So like there's one where they're samurai, there's one where they joust on horses, and then my favorite one was where they are superheroes, and it looks like Jack Kirby artwork.
Oh, cool.
The artwork on this book is probably top 3 best of the entire year.
Oh, wow.
All books I've seen, top 3 of the year. Amazing,
Wow.
amazing. And he did like 4 different styles of artwork. There was a style for each fight. So you have the jousting, the samurai. I think there's like a gun battle, and then the space fight, and then there's just the normal story in between. So, I don't know. When you want to talk about, if you need an example of like how comics can be so much than superheroes and I don't know, ghouls and goblins and just like, I don't know. There was just something about this book that just screams literary fiction, but like in the snobby way, like professors would study the intricacies.
Right.
It was just fucking brutal. It was a really brutal.
Okay.
But it was also really good and my
Okay, that's what that's
Pick of the week.
yeah, that's cool.
Before we stop, I do want to talk about last minute pickup. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, dude, I got you.
Infield
boo.
Gang Massacre. So I picked this up. I had been contemplating it for a long time, and this is the same creative team as That Texas Blood.
What?
There we go.
You're not frozen.
On my screen I was, but I'm not.
Okay.
So this is Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, I believe. They're the ones that are doing Criminal and all those like straight to graphic novel books that everyone praises. Well, this is his son, Jacob Phillips, doing the art, and then Chris Condon's writing it. But this takes place like 80 years before That Texas Blood.
Okay.
In the same Ambrose counties, 1860s, 1880s, something like that. And I wanted something that was like just so far different than a typical comic book, and a true Western. I was like, yeah, that's totally it. And I picked the book up, and the pages are like really, really rough newspaper print, like a comic that you would get from like the 70s or the 90s when they were both doing those like hard newspaper prints. But the colors still like really popped on it. Like it's still, I don't know, like it felt old and new at the same time. I don't know how to explain it.
I gotta wonder when books like this, make that creative decision to use a different style of paper. Like, does it cost more? Like what is the financials behind a decision like that? Like,
Yeah.
was this a standard $3.99?
It was, yeah, $3.99.
See, was it better? Like, was the cost
See, this I would think would be cheaper because it's just newspaper stock paper. It's
right?
it's
But if they're
shipped-
not but if they're not using that on a day to day, like you gotta, like, I'm wondering if, like, is there a process
yeah,
to
the
like,
availability.
yeah,
I
like
see.
bringing in that paper? Like, do you have to use a different printer, or you know what I mean? Like, that's a question for somebody within the industry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but this was intense. Like this was bloody and gory and hardcore. Basically, there's like the Infield Gang is known in this area of Ambrose as being pests, and they keep robbing the bank, and they're always kind of around but out of the way. There's a Texas Ranger in town. They try to convince him to help, and he's like, no, y'all got your own sheriff, y'all need to figure your shit out. And then some kid comes wandering in, he's been shot, and says, hey, they murdered the dude from the bank. And they go and look in. The guy hasn't just been murdered, he's been hung from the rafters and then disemboweled with his innards just hanging there.
No,
And,
not the
and
innards.
he's like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm gonna help y'all with this shit. And what it looks like is this evil or bad gang is getting framed for something they probably didn't. So it's like almost as if maybe the gang is going to be the people you root for, even though
it's like gonna be the
because they're being wrongfully accused, but they're also bad guys. I
right.
don't know. I will definitely be adding this to the show.
Sounds like an hateful eight situation.
good. It's good stuff.
Nice. All right. All right. Well, that is going to do it for this week's episode or issue of Two Fat Guys Bolus, issue 144. Just to give you guys a little bit of housekeeping. So there will be a new comic book day video that drops this Tuesday. Sunday, I will be in Seattle on vacation. So we're either talking about having the live show on Friday, this week's live show on Friday, or if I can make it work and get away, sit in the lobby and do the live show Sunday, do it from on vacation. But I think it's safe to assume that there will be a live show at some point next week. If I had to put my money on it, it'll probably be on Friday night. Or it might be a pre-record. I don't know. We might just do a pre-record and just do a premiere on Friday. We'll have to wait.
We don't want to do nothing though. That's the
yeah. We don't want to. I don't want to skip it. So
we've got some really fun books coming out next week that we
yeah, especially that Cole one that I think John talked about. So that we do want to check that out. So there will be some form of a review show for next week, whether it's on Sunday or Friday. We'll let you know on our socials, but be on the lookout for that. But obviously, there will be a new comic book day video that drops this Tuesday. And then some form of a live or review show about those books on Friday. I'm gonna just say it's probably on Friday. We'll see if it's pre-record or if it's a live. I'm sure it'll be a live because it's just easier to go live. So be on the lookout for that Friday. We'll probably do it around 8:00 same time, just so we can keep kind of things consistent when it comes to time frame. So be on the lookout for that. And then obviously, I think we're gonna try to pre-record next week's new comic book day video, so there will be one of those. So there should be no skipping content from us when it comes to regular scheduled programming. So be on the lookout for all those videos. If any breaking comic book news happens during my vacation, sorry, you just have to read the CBR article because I ain't doing that. Like I got the week that I'm off outside of Seattle, I will be in an area where I will have no internet, so I will not be able to get on the interwebs to do that. So a little bit, if you will, a bit of a break for the channel, but there will be regular videos on Tuesday and there will be a live show. And then I will be rushing to read all our books for that Sunday when I get back so that we can have a live show that following Sunday. But just to give you guys a little bit of a, house cleaning and behind the scenes look at to the channel. That's what's going on this week. Appreciate every single one of you that showed up live to watch us live here on YouTube. If you're not watching it live and you're watching this as a past episode, we appreciate you too for watching it. And the only thing I got to say is if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, and give us a like. It'd be much appreciated so we can get this this train rolling and really start engaging with y'all guys. We're getting really close to our other no internet. That sounds great. Yeah, it sucks. It'll be fine. I'm just gonna find my zen in the woods. I'm gonna chill, get a real nice refresh, get that fresh mountain air. Anyway, we're really close to our monetization goal for that new tier of monetization that YouTube has, but we can't do it without your support. So please hit that subscribe button, ring that bell. And we're on our road to those sub goals. So just help us out. We really appreciate everyone that already has. And if you haven't, just click it. But yeah, we'll see you guys on Tuesday, then some form of a live show next week. And then we'll just keep moving on. But again, we appreciate every single one of y'all for showing up and just hanging out with us and chit-chatting. It's silly goose time, super fun. But as always, fam, be kind to one another. Truly be kind to one another. And read more comics. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. I don't know why I said that. That's not what I say. I don't say that stuff.
Push the button.
I'll push the button. Bye. Flip side? What is that? I'm speechless. Absolutely speechless. All right, guys. We'll talk to you later. Later, Jaden. Later, John. Later, Calvin, Patty.
Calvin, make sure you find that swan song. It'll fuck you.